when you're collecting the eggs from your chickens, never put the eggs in your pocket. They're going to break. You're going to forget about them.
Hey everybody, welcome to Hard Times Strongman Podcast. I'm 6, we got 7 here. Today we're going to be giving you a Dadisode. We're going to be talking about driving in the rain. But first, dad jokes. What do you got, 7?
Oh, I don't know, man. You ever just think that Arkansas is just pirate Kansas? You know?
I'm so glad I'm drinking.
Arkansas.
I hate you. All right. You know, give a man a plane ticket and he flies for the day. Push him out at 30,000 feet and he'll fly for the rest of his life.
For the rest of his life.
So morbid, but it hits just right.
That's wonderful. Flies for the rest of his life. I'm just imagining Tom Petty.
Oh, God.
'Cause I'm free. Bow, bow, bow. Free falling.
Yeah, you're going to be free falling and free balling until you hit the ground.
Goodness.
And I mean, it's not the speed that gets you, it's that sudden stop at the end.
He was just a rookie trooper and he surely shook with pride.
Oh, man.
And he ain't gonna jump no more.
Gory, gory. What a hell of a way to die.
What a hell of a way to die. Any hoozle. Driving in the rain.
What kind of tips do you have for our listeners? Because I don't know if a lot of people's parents have, told them how to drive in the rain. You know,
no one in Texas was taught how to drive in the rain.
I mean, no one in Florida obviously knows how to drive, period, much less in the rain. But
goodness. Well, I'm going to help people cheat real quick.
Right.
3 products that you can just help your car right off the bat. Making sure that your windshield wipers have, been changed recently. So look out for streaks. If you have streaks, if you have the sound every time they hit your windshield wipers, they need to be changed out. Make sure they're the right size.
Scratching the glass.
Yes. Make sure they're the right size. If you go to any auto parts store, if you go to any Walmart, they're going to have, the make and model on the, on the actual packaging, or they'll have a little booklet for you.
Or just Google it for your specific car.
You have your phone. Yeah. So make sure it's the specific make and model for your vehicle. So all season windshield wiper fluid, they make them now with Rain-X, by Rain-X in the mix. So Rain-X just on its own is a hydrophobic coating that you apply to your windshield and you apply to your windows and your mirrors. Hydrophobic coating, meaning that it repels water. So Rain-X, it comes in a little yellow bottle, and you apply it to your windshield, you apply it to your windows, your mirrors, and it goes on clear, no issue. But what it does is it beads up the water, so it doesn't stick onto your windshield, it doesn't stick onto your mirrors. So doing that before you get into the raining season, or if you have an indoor garage, doing that, obviously at your leisure, but also doubling up with that windshield wiper fluid can, help aid your windshield wipers in your visibility.
Right. And you can actually buy Rain-X by itself too and spray it on your windshield.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So I would say that just to help people right off the back.
I got one for you.
Okay.
Make sure you have tread on your tires.
Yes. How much tread on your tires?
I think it is more than 5/32 of a tread.
How many pennies is that?
So that is if you stick Abraham Lincoln's head down into the tread should be higher than the top of his head.
So for people who don't carry coins, stick your pinky finger in the treads. Ooh. It should reach the top of your nail.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't know that one.
I mean, optimally, it's probably not the exact same measurement, but it's a good reference point.
Are you talking like the base of the nail or like the front of it?
I mean, the front of it. So like stick your pinky finger in.
Okay.
Then, right.
Gotcha.
Yes.
That's a good one. Yeah, no, that's about the same length, depending on how you cut your nails.
Right. So don't let your tires, wear down to nothing. That's not going to help anybody, because what you're going to invariably run into is hydroplaning.
Ah, yes. That's fun. Have you ever had to hydroplane before?
I grew up in Oregon, man. I hydroplaned every day.
Dude, I have never had a more butthole puckering moment until I got in the Army than when I hydroplaned for the first time coming up to a stoplight.
Goodness.
Dude, I got sideways and somehow corrected it and stopped right before I slammed into the back of somebody.
Oh my gosh, man. And so quick tip, the first rain of the season is going to be the worst, because the road's collecting. So all the water's washing up all of the oil off of the road.
Mm-hmm. The oil, the debris, the sand, all that crap.
So it's going to be slicker than, the rest of the year. So be aware of that. But hydroplaning, what we're talking about is when water builds up on the road, your tires, because they're, filled with air, can actually slide on top of that water given their speed. So to combat this, you're not going to want to slam on your brakes because you're going to make it worse. But you let off the gas and you let your vehicle slow down on its own. Your vehicle slowing down, it's going to create more pressure, with gravity going down to the ground, to the road, and your tires are going to find purchase again. They're going to get traction again.
Yeah.
But steering into the turn, just like, when you're, if you're sliding on ice, same concept. But the most
important thing too is to try. This is so hard to do. It's easier said than done. Try to stay calm, because if you panic, you're going to make all of your movements and your decisions way worse.
Yes. Well, because the thing is, when you panic, you're going to overcorrect whatever you're trying to do, and that's going to exacerbate the situation. Mm-hmm. Something else you can do, because, say you're driving on, not like an FM road or, country road, but if you're driving like on a freeway, a well-traveled road, drive in the tire lines of the vehicle in front of you.
See, I've actually heard dispersing the water. Yeah, see, I've actually heard not to do that, because when cars drive through that, they push the water out, and then what's inevitably going to happen is the water's going to come back in.
Well, so okay, so yes, that's right. So that's contextual, right? That's situation dependent. Right. But if you can see that the water is displaced to where it's a lower level than all the surrounding water around it, go towards the lower level of water.
Right. You don't want to head for standing water. That's just asking for trouble. But yeah, I mean, I've heard it both ways. It is contextual. Honestly, when I drive in the rain, I'm still aiming for the tires in front of me, because at least I know where my lane is, as opposed to sometimes down here you just cannot see those white lines in the heavy rain.
Exactly. 100%.
Experiences may vary. Do it at your own risk, kind of thing. But I have heard it both ways on that.
Right. And if you're not comfortable driving in the rain, drive slower.
Right. Or,
reduce your speed. There's no point in, trying to act beyond your skill level or beyond your comfort level. You were traveling in a metal box that weighs a literal ton. Yeah. It's not worth you trying to muscle it out when you can just turn into a blob of metal and flesh. Yeah. Like it's not worth it. We've seen too many.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
No, go ahead, man. Finish
I
your
was just
thought.
gonna say we've seen too many motor vehicle accidents, too many pileups. I mean, just act within your confidence.
Yeah. It wasn't like a regular thing when I lived in Texas, but down here in Florida, like it is a regular thing, dude. If it rains, there's going to be an accident within like 10 minutes. Almost guaranteed.
Crazy.
And then you drive another 10 minutes. Oh, there's another accident. Another 10 minutes. Oh, there's another accident. Because people just do not know how to drive. And I don't understand it. It's like almost like
Yeah,
their dads didn't give them tips on how to drive in the rain.
weird
Huh. But yeah,
things your dad should have taught you.
right. And one option that you can always consider, and I do stress this one, if you have time and you don't want to risk it, wait until the weather improves.
Right.
If you do not feel comfortable driving in the rain and can wait, do it.
Well, I'd even say like almost anything can wait.
Yeah.
You're talking about your safety and the
Yeah.
safety of other people here. Like
Hmm.
this is a really real, threat to your life and other people's lives. If you don't feel comfortable, if you're not able to safely drive in inclement weather, you're becoming a threat to yourself and others. So,
And I know your friends and family will understand. They would rather you get to wherever you need to go alive than to show up in a body bag, you know?
100%. And speaking of family, right? So, men, women, people who know how to drive, okay, in other types of weather, if you know someone who is new to driving, if you know someone who is not comfortable, right, driving in inclement weather, take those people out driving. We're talking about wanting to build this community, right? This is how we do that. If we're faithful in little, we'll be faithful in much. So
Yeah.
train up your family members, train up your community in how to be safer.
It's about that exposure therapy too, honestly. Like you're not going to develop the skills unless you do it, unless you get out in it. It's the same thing we stress for all the skills that we teach, whether it be fieldcraft, driving, shooting, whatever. If you're not exposed to what you're doing, it's going to shock you. It's going to scare you the first time.
Right.
This week's episode is brought to you by FieldSeats.com. FieldSeats.com is an e-commerce federally licensed firearms dealer. They provide virtual reviews on brand new firearms, optics, and gear, where at the end of the review, they give away the item being reviewed to an attendee.
Currently, they've got reviews ranging from the Shadow Systems MR920 for $35, the Springfield M1A for $65, or Chichicon ACOG with RMR for $60. Each review has limited seating, so your chances of winning the giveaway are that much higher.
Check out FieldSeats.com to purchase your reviews and enter to win the item being reviewed, and use code STRONGMEN to get 10% off your order.
Be sure to check out their Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at field_seats for updates on products and other tips and info.
Use code STRONGMEN to receive 10% off your entire purchase at FieldSeats.com. Terms and conditions apply.
Thanks for listening, guys. Now back to the episode. Stay in the fight.
Oh, here's a good one for you too. When you're driving, turn on your headlights. How many times have you been driving down the road, even at night with no rain, and inevitably there's one idiot who's driving without headlights on because he can see
And he's invisible.
and he's invisible. Yep.
Well, and you don't even have to have your full headlights on. Just click on your your running lights. Just something so people can see you.
Right. Yeah. It's not only just about you being able to see; it's about other people being able to see you. It's like,
Right.
does it annoy me sometimes when people drive with their flashes on or their hazards? Yes.
Right.
Like I can see your brake lights, I can see your tail lights, I can see your headlights. You don't need your flashers unless you're going obscenely slow. Which in that
Right.
case, like, just pull over.
Or to alert people. So how many times I know in Texas it happens all the time, but how many times in Florida have you hit congestion due to rain, right? And then you're going 70, and then you're going 20. So
Or five, we're stopped. Yeah.
if you so if you see something going on ahead of you, hit on your flash so that people can see, like, oh, I should probably slow down.
Oh, good old 121 outside of Dallas.
Goodness, 35.
God.
Well,
Yes,
and
that's
and
685.
I rag on Texans pretty bad, but they at least try to drive slower in rain, and that's why I
Yeah.
get annoyed with them. But God help you in snow or ice. Texans have no concept of the dangers of snow and ice while they're driving, and so they'll just book it
Right.
wherever they go. It blows my mind. It's like, dude, if you're gonna speed anywhere, like just do it in the rain. Don't do it when we have black ice everywhere. My goodness.
Well, one thing that people a lot of times, and I did notice this in Texas too, they overlook is maintaining a safe distance between cars. Because like
Yes.
I think the figure was what, for every 10 mile an hour of speed, you need to leave that many car lengths between you and the person in
So
front of you. I don't follow that personally, but I do give extra distance when I'm going faster, just because of the
so when
reaction
I
time.
was yeah, so when I was learning to drive, it was like 5 seconds in between cars. So like,
That's a
someone
lot,
passed
but
the
yeah.
telephone pole or something, 1,000, 2,000, 3. By the time you got to 5, that's you, right?
I
And
mean, yeah, that's pretty safe.
yeah, that's a good safe distance for someone learning how to drive.
Oh yeah,
But take that into account if you have inclement weather, right? You need extra time in
right.
order to stop, because you have to think, if you need to slam on your brakes, you're going to slide.
Yeah,
You don't want to cause a pileup.
right.
So, give
And
yourself
that's
the extra room.
and that's the other point that I was going to bring up was just avoid your heavy braking, because if you slam on your brakes, just like you said,
Yes.
you're going to slide. I don't care how
Right.
good your tires are, just assume you're going to hydroplane and slide. So give
Right.
yourself extra distance and start braking sooner. Because
And a lot of this
also,
has to do with, especially the hydroplane. I sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
no,
I was
you're
just going
good.
to say, a lot of this has to do with being able to read the road.
Mm-hmm.
So, no road is perfectly flat the entire time,
Yep.
right? So, knowing, where you are and where you're going, right? So, having that mental, that mental navigation. And if you don't know where you are, where you're going, being able to read the road, see the dips, see the valleys, if you have a turn off, what the gradient is, so you can anticipate where the water is going to run, right? So water is naturally going to run to the lowest point. So if you have someone who's joining you on the freeway and they're in, they come in at a very high gradient, really low angle, right? You can expect that water is going to run and collect there. So that might be a hazard for you. That's a consideration. You have
Yeah.
to run through your, most likely most dangerous circumstances.
Yep. One thing that we tend to overlook too, um, like what's one thing that usually kind of happens during rain, especially if there's a little bit of humidity levels, your
I
windshield
don't know.
become foggy.
Lightning. Oh,
How many
yeah,
times have you seen
that's
somebody
fair.
driving down the road with, I mean, not just during the winter when they just have their entire windshield covered with freaking ice and snow, but during the rain when their windshield's completely foggy up and they're
Oh my
sitting there like
gosh.
trying to
Yeah.
brush it off with a napkin or something. Like,
Right.
use your defroster.
Well, and that goes back to giving yourself extra time to be safe. Give yourself the 5 minutes it'll
Right.
take for your car to, defrost the windshield, clear that up for you before you go on your way.
Right. Or, if you're feeling really high speed, go get those little defroster drops, put it on a rag, and wipe your windshield down with them.
I was gonna say, you're not Ace Ventura sticking your head out the window.
Yeah,
Like,
please don't do that because you're not going to be able to see, period. And, it'd be hilarious to see somebody driving down the road without a head because they stuck their head out too far and got clipped.
think of a very different brand of humor than some
If
of the
you,
listenership.
I mean, if you haven't figured out by now, my humor is about as dark as some people like their coffee.
Stick your head out the window. Be a man.
Yeah, lose your head in oncoming traffic.
I'm gonna say again, bring a jacket. Have a jacket in your vehicle.
Yeah, just be prepared. Be prepared to like
Have
if
a
your
poncho,
car
something,
stalls out. Yeah,
an extra set of clothes.
a blanket.
I
I
mean,
mean, most people aren't like super prepared, so they're not going to have an empty gas can with them or a full gas can for that matter. But, you know, have jumper cables, have like one of those plug in tire inflators. Make sure your
right.
spare is still good.
Goodness. If you have a spare, make sure
If
you
you
have a
have a
spare.
spare, yeah, have a spare, have a donut, whichever. But just make sure you
Man,
have something. Make sure you have a
but
jack in your car. Oh, I can't stress this enough. So I've seen so many people have like the spare in their car and they don't have a jack or tire iron.
Or have something better than the little ball jack that they come with. Like, goodness.
Right. Yeah.
Something I was just thinking, going back to being aware of your surroundings, right? So I grew up in Oregon, mudslides.
Ooh.
So, rainy season, if you're driving on, a back road, a country road, you'll be aware that the environment might not play in your favor.
Mm-hmm.
So be very aware, not just of the roads that you're driving on, but of the surrounding environment, right? So especially like wildlife love to move around in the rain because it masks their footsteps, it masks their smell from predators. So especially deer will be moving around a lot. Same thing with fog.
Yeah. And one thing you just kind of need to be in the mindset of is just like if you're dealing with the environment, you just need to keep it in mind that the environment is trying to kill you. Like it's not playing you any favors.
It's a fair policy. Yeah.
It's just playing for the worst, Hope for the best, but playing for the worst,
100%.
Well, guys, that's been our safety brief here, our Dadisode on driving in the rain. Thank you for joining us for this. Hopefully we taught you guys a few things. If you already knew this, great. Use what we put out to teach your youngins, teach your family, teach your friends, whatever, because nothing says I'm cool like teaching people how to drive in the rain. I say that tongue in cheek, but at least you get a kick out of yourself.
But you guys know our hearts, right? So we believe, we firmly believe that if you have strength, if you have a knowledge base, if you have a skill, it's your responsibility to pass that on to, better take care of your community. So if you see somebody struggling, help them out.
Yeah. You know what?
Simple as that.
I'm going to go teach the entire state of Florida how to drive in the rain now. They need it.
Good luck with that. All right. Dad advice. Go.
Oh, dad advice. One thing I was always taught was do not count your chickens before they're hatched. What I mean by that is don't look ahead and just assume that something's going to happen and you're going to reap the rewards of that because you're counting your chickens before they're hatched because those eggs could just break. They could not be there. Your rewards could just vanish into thin air. So don't think you have something in the bag. Always strive to make sure and ensure that whatever you're planning for in the future is bent on what you're going to decide, not what some outside factor is going to happen.
That was really profound.
Thank you. Sometimes I have those moments.
Sometimes. Never, when you're collecting the eggs from your chickens, never put the eggs in your pocket. They're going to break. You're going to forget about them.
Have you done that?
It's happened every time I've done it. Every single time.
That's unfortunate.
Just don't do it. My wife told me not to do it. I did it anyways, and I broke the eggs. Don't do it.
It's because we're
Learn from me.
stubborn.
Learn from me.
Yeah. I learned from
All right, my dad advice. Check your tire tread. You haven't done it in too long. I know you haven't. Just do it.
Okay, I'm going to go do that now.
Check everybody else's.
Oh, God.
No, prepare for, like you said, prepare for the best. Expect
Prepare for the worst.
Or prepare for the worst.
But hope for the best.
Don't even do that. Just prepare for the worst, because it probably will be.
Yeah, turns you into the pessimist in life, but, it'll keep you alive.
Yeah.
I guess the realist, really.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right.
Hard times.
Yeah, hard times.
Hard times, strong man.
Coming at you, 2023. Thanks for joining us, guys.
Thanks for joining us, guys.
Yeah.
Jinx.
Right. Thanks for joining us, guys. It's been Hard Time Strongman Podcast with a Dadisode on driving in the rain. See you next time. Stay safe.